him by the nose, and we're going to kick him in the ass. We're going to kick the hell out of him all the time, and we're going to go through him like crap through a goose.
From the expat home of the resistance, it's the Bill Show. And now, brothers and sisters in solidarity, here's Bill and Randy.
Hello, Randy.
Oh, William. Hi, how are you? Long time no talk.
Oh wow. We made we made June. We did. We made June.
Yeah.
We just made June because I've just come back from the United States.
And I've just come back from the South Island of Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, to tell you, it was not a good reason to go back.
No,
But I spent
But
I spent some time in my hometown, and you know what? I went to my hometown and I started eating American food. You know, my colon.
Yes, I'm quite familiar with it.
Oh my God! Oh my God! The processed food there. I swear to God, have you eaten the bread in America lately?
It's all sugar. They're
It's
putting flour in it.
God's sake! Why don't you just put paste on your colon? It's just disgusting. You know the big.
But you know
problem?
what?
What?
It's because everybody's used to sweet bread because it's used in fast food.
Yeah.
Like McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah.
So that when they caramelize the buns, the tomato sauce doesn't soak in. I mean, I learned that 50 years ago when I used to work for Mickey D's, you know?
You know, as a teacher, which I am, I'm rather curious about research about sugar and its ties to depression, you know? Because sugar does do this. Sugar,
it does.
Sugar makes you feel like shit, gives you a high, and then you drop like a stone.
Yeah.
All right, they're plying you with Soylent Green. You can't take a shit.
Silent greatest people! Oh, yeah.
I mean, Christ's sake. And the worst thing that happened, Randy, is that I went...
Yeah.
See, I was brought up in a small town outside of Boston, Needham, Massachusetts, right? And my two best friends, right? I had two best friends growing up when I was a kid. One was a fireman's son, and the other was the son of a plumber.
Yeah.
And I've gone back to that place again, and it's now this uber-rich playground. It's now like, oh my God. It's
Needham, Massachusetts.
Oh my God. You know, let me tell you something. I've been around the rich, the really rich, for the last 2 weeks. I have never been so fucking offended in my life.
Yeah.
They drive these huge fucking cars. You've got soccer moms going out to soccer practice with like paramilitary vehicles, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And Hummer twos,
Yeah, and I went up and down my street, right? Up and down my little suburban, all the nice little suburban houses that they used to have there. My house is owned by a rabbi. I know that because a church bought it, and they've been using it as housing for... so that hasn't changed.
That was the house you were born in.
The house I was born in is still the same.
Was it made with split rails and stuff?
Yeah. Hi there, Opie. How are you? Good to see you, Mr. Frank. You know, it's all that shit. On either side are the most disgusting atrocities, the most garish fucking... They have taken and put fucking mansions on suburban blocks.
Yeah. That's what we call them here, McMansions, right?
Yeah, and they're all like, you know, you look at it and there's like pillars and shit, and statues of lions everywhere. It's like, and a BMW in the driveway and a Hummer the size of Nevada. And I'm sitting there going, how do you know that the guy coming out of that door is just a dick? You know, it's just, I was sitting there looking at it and I was going, these people are never going to give up what they have. The rich have gotten so fucking rich.
And that's why they'll vote for Trump, because he will protect them.
Yeah. This is the thing. Is Bernie and the other guys, and by the way, the debate was, I thought, very informative.
Were you there for that?
Huh?
Were you there for that?
Yeah. I saw some of it, but I saw all of it eventually. But the thing I'm saying is that also when I was there, I witnessed people being just rude, because all the service staff was like black and Hispanic.
Yeah.
And first of all, they're making like $4 an hour. I asked this waitress, how much are you making?
Plus tips.
$4 an hour and tips. So basically, whether or not she gets a living wage is subject to the whim of the drunk fuck who's sitting there with crab meat in his skull.
Yeah.
How is this not indentured servitude? That's what I'm thinking. And not only that,
is.
In my hometown, I witnessed 3 different people be appallingly rude to these people. Appallingly.
Yeah. Oh, there's not enough ice in my drink. Where's my ice?
It was that kind of entitled white rich shit. The place
Really?
wasn't friendly anymore. It was mean.
Willie, you're preaching to the choir. When I went back last September, same thing, and even my own mother. And I'm saying, Mom, don't worry about it. I'll go get you some more ketchup. Or no, that's her job. And I'm saying, they just, you're absolutely right. There's no soul.
That's it, man. This is a cancer of the soul. This isn't about politics. This is a cancer of the soul.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter did a thing. Remember his Malays speech, and he got criticized for it. And he sat there and said, "We are starting to judge people not by who they are, but how much they own."
Yeah.
And this rampant consumerism that is so garishly, you go 2 suburbs away from Needham, because I did it. I had a friend who lived in Dorchester, and I drove over through Roxbury. There are beggars on the street, man. There are beggars on the fucking street like a third world country.
At every red light.
And every red light, somebody's doing your windows.
Yeah. Or juggling or
doing that shit.
Paying,
you something. Go 1 suburb over, and the Beamers and all the fucking shit. It's fucking obscene. It's just fucking obscene.
But aren't you glad you're back?
Fuck yes.
I kiss the ground.
I know. I have friends there, and that's not the way it is everywhere. And I'm making a broad generalization. It's just the place I was at.
Yeah. No, it's not just the place you were at.
When you actually come from a place where we have a middle class now, and you go into this huge, what all of our Democrats were talking about during the debate, especially Bernie, all the time, is the division between rich and poor. It is like, oh my God,
that's Trump's wall.
Yeah. And those people serving you fries who you abuse? Yeah, let's get rid of them. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, who are you going to get your fries from, though?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, this is the problem.
But here's a good example.
What?
Here's a good example. One of Bernie's policies, one of his big 3 policies, which he's had for a long time.
Yeah.
Not spending trillions on war, not spending trillions bailing out Wall Street, but he wants to forgive student debt.
Yeah.
Now, I thought that was a wonderful policy. A really good policy is to forgive student debt.
It is. You'll make back your money.
Easily. But the point is that the people coming out against it are taking the same tack as people coming out against Trump for not serving,
Yeah.
I paid my money and I got my degree.
I got mine, fuck you.
I got mine, and I paid off my student debt.
Yeah.
What am I going to get?
That's absolutely. That's true. Absolutely. I read those things. You know what, Bernie?
Dickheads.
You know what? I'll tell you something, Randy. Trump is not a delusion. Trump is a fucking reflection.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of a huge segment of the American people who are just basically rotted to the soul. and addicted
Yes, but how
to
can you
all
say
this
that
shit.
about
They're being
somebody-
fed crap food. Their only job is to go out to a fucking shopping mall and buy shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Consume. Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
And the thing is the have-nots, it's getting to be like South Africa. Like when I was in South Africa 20-odd years ago,
Yeah.
just after Nelson Mandela had been released, and the place was really trying to get its act together, you know?
Yeah.
But there were still townships everywhere. Every little bit of green had a tent on it, including like off-ramps on freeways, you know, had little townships.
yeah.
And people were begging trying to sell their children. And I'm going, this is horrible, you know, for what used to be a first world country. But then I realized it's just because the gulf between the have and the have-nots was just so big
Yep.
that it was hard to get it back together again.
Yes. Because,
Yeah,
and that's
but
on
now I
purpose.
believe-
That's on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
let me tell you a little thing. In the center of my town, there used to be a place called the Crest. Now, the Crest was literally where you go get a newspaper in the morning, you know, you get a coffee, nice little
Yeah.
place, you know, family owned it. And that was bulldozed. You know what's there now? A rare wine cellar where you can read about immigrants getting drowned at the border while you buy yourself a $500 fucking bottle of wine.
Yeah.
USA,
yeah.
USA.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
And what was your other favorite? Knickerbockers, wasn't it? Or with the ice cream and stuff?
Oh, I did go to Ben & Jerry's.
No,
What?
not Ben and Jerry's.
What?
It was Knickerbockers or something with a K for food and ice cream and stuff. What was it called? The restaurant that closed down last year, and you said, "I'm going to mourn that."
Oh, Friendly's.
Was it Friendly's?
Yeah, it was Friendly's.
Yeah,
Friendly's
yeah.
was like a chain where you could just, you know, it was a local New England chain, and you could go
Yeah.
there and get a cup of soup. You know, it was like they had a counter. You know, I mean, it was real old style stuff, and you know, you weren't in a fucking booth with fucking goddamn video screens everywhere. Jesus, what the fuck is that? Is there a place in America where I cannot fucking have a video screen thrust in my fucking gob? I walked into a pizzeria Uno. It was like, what is this? An evil lair of some Bond villain? It's just like, fuck. I am watching television all the time. And by the way, I sat there in a hotel room for an entire night watching American television. Oh my God.
Bill, there's all the subliminal images.
Oh
You can't
my
see them.
God.
That, you know, Trump is God.
The
Trump is God.
patriotic wanking that goes on American
I know.
television.
Oh, it's so
Jesus
sad.
Christ. It's fucking
That's-
North Korean. It really
It's
is. It's fucking
jingoism.
propaganda everywhere. Sorry.
Jingoism.
Jingoism. An American
Yeah.
flag. I'm in Australia. I know what country am I in. What,
Yeah.
don't you know what country you're in? I have an American red, white, and blue flag thrust up my ass
know-
every 2 fucking seconds.
The Flag Act says that you should stand, put your hand on your heart, or take off your hat.
Oh, blow me.
When an honor
off.
guard goes past. When an honor guard goes past.
Yeah.
But it also says you're not supposed to make clothes out of flags or anything.
Well, what I'm
people
saying is that we had patriotism. I view myself as a patriotic American man who wants the best for his country. But this shit is 1984 crap.
Oh yeah, Ministry of Truth.
It is 1984
Yeah.
crap. And the thing that I literally sat there and I was looking at all these huge posters coming into Boston with thanks to our military and our military and just military ads nonstop to join the military. Ads nonstop in the movie theater. Ads. You know, get those 18-year-olds to sign up for another fucking war. Really, seriously, it was all over the place. And I sat there and I looked up Orwell's quote where he says, "The war is not meant to be won. It is meant to go on forever."
Didn't they say
it is the
didn't it
organizing
turn out-
basis for a dictatorial government? War, constant,
Yes, but was
non-ending
in
war.
1984 was Oceania even at war with somebody because they kept talking about this enemy and all that sort of stuff, but then somebody said there actually it wasn't O'Brien that said there was no war. It's just a tool.
It's a tool. It's a tool. And it's just like it is so obvious when you go away for a couple of years and you come back, and it just hits you in the head. You guys don't notice it as much because also you're in that information bubble. Oh my God,
Yeah,
the propaganda bubble that you are in right now. Really, if you're
Fox
listening to
News
this podcast,
and-
I'm outside the bubble. Okay, I get everything from all over. You guys are in a purposefully built information brainwashing media bubble where
Yeah.
you're constantly being pumped information, you're given shitty food. I swear to God, if you wanted to condition an entire population to be like rats in
Yeah.
a maze, constantly on a sugar binge, wanting to buy
Yeah.
shit, you have done a very good job. Fucking hell.
that's good. That's good.
It's just, I'm sorry. I call them the way I see them, my American friends. I'm sure it's not everywhere.
Here's one for you. Here's one for you that I read just a couple weeks ago. You feel safe in Australia, don't you?
Oh God, yes.
You feel safe with our foreign policy.
We don't have
And-
we don't
and
have
things-
guns. I got.
Well, no, I don't
sat
mean- I
there
don't
in
mean on the
my
street.
hometown and in a hotel listening to fucking sirens half the night.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
But in Australia, you know how much our military budget is?
What is it? $1.50?
2%.
Huh?
2%.
2% of our military.
2%.
2%.
In America, it's 57%
Absolutely.
of the GDP
Stupid.
goes towards military spending.
Yep.
Not just the Army, Navy, Air Force, but just research, development, space, all that crap.
Yeah.
It's more than the next 12 countries, including Russia and China, combined.
I know. Anyway,
That's the obscenity.
I came back from America, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. That's my
Yeah,
letter.
and I'm so glad.
That's my Alistair
I'm so glad.
Cook letter from America. There's something
really,
wrong
really,
with
I'm
you.
glad you made it back. I'm glad you made it back.
Oh my God! Thank you. Now, I kind of wanted to do a segment on the debates, which I did manage to see, ladies and gentlemen. Yes,
The master
the
debate,
debates.
yeah.
And I want to do an intro for it right now, Randy. Let's see if I can do this. Could just bring in the music for me, please, will you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here it goes. Now it's time for Democratic Thunderdome Clusterfuck 2020 with Lonesome Joe Biden, Cranky Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, some guys, some other guy, that guy you knew in high school. I think I dated her once, and others. Hosted by Lester Holt. Hello, I'm Lester Holt. I'm the world's whitest black guy. You ever go down to that country club and bump into me and say, he's one of the good ones? That's me, non-threatening Lester Holt. And with Rachel Maddow. Okay, guys. I smile all the time, and I really like you, and it's great. It's fantastic, and I know I'm really cute, but just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up, would you please? Just shut up. And Chuck Both Sides Todd. Chuck Todd here. There are both sides to everything, every argument. I think you know that. You think you know that. For example, there are a lot of people that are in the Trump administration who don't like Jews. And that's a point of view. That really is a point of view. I mean, really, do we really need Jews? That's what I'm saying. There are two sides to every situation. Yes, Thursday, 8 o'clock on NBC. Be there. Yeah, that's my salute to
To the master debates.
To the 4 hours in which I spent listening to. Actually, you know something? Now, when you saw the highlights of the debate, I know that you didn't sit through the entire thing.
I didn't watch. I don't even listen to the Bill show anymore.
Thanks, pal. That's great.
Okay, sorry. I mean, you know, you don't want me to be dishonest.
No.
I saw the highlights reel, and I just thought it was probably not as well staged as the one in the Reagan hangar.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But I hope when the field narrows after Iowa, that we have some proper debates, not these little kind of like 12 people.
Sound grabs.
Yeah.
But you know what I was impressed with, Randy, you know, and I know I did that for comedy, but actually I was quite impressed with a group of candidates. Let's go to the first little scene. And remember I told you that Joe Biden would fold like a fucking toenail? Remember I said that? I sat there and said, he's run 2 times. There's a reason Joe Biden never became president.
Yeah.
It's because when he opens his mouth, shit falls out.
There's that.
It just does. It's just a blub, you know, it's just there. He is incredibly tone deaf politically.
Yeah.
And he proved that. And he should have saw the question that Kamala Harris just beat the shit out of him. Just beat the shit out of him.
That was a wonderful moment.
And evidently And you know what? Kamala Harris impressed the crap out of me that night. I thought, whoa.
Well, she's still a bit of a corporatist, and
she is a corporatist. I'm not changing my vote in the primary, but I'm just saying if Kamala Harris was to win, well, first of all, I vote for any person that isn't Donald Trump in the general election. Yeah. But if Kamala Harris was to win, I kind of want somebody that smart, and she is. She's fucking quick. And she's passionate. He's a great communicator. This is the cut with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Did you hear this?
Yeah.
I'll give you a listen. Hold it. Here it is.
I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No.
Do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
Yeah.
How did his balls taste?
Joe was taken to the woodshed, man.
Yeah, she smacked him upside the head.
Oh, fuck. And, absolutely right, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, too. Joe Biden did a eulogy at Strom Thurmond's funeral.
Yeah.
And these are some of the most reptilian racists. And I remember the busing thing in Boston.
Yeah, so I remember when I was a kid, too.
Absolutely. And the only way you were going to get these little regions to actually desegregate their schools was to mandate it. That was it. And Joe came out against that. And she had every right to bring it up to him. Every right to bring it up to him. I really thought that was an effective moment, and it showed her as a prosecutor. I saw her interrogate the Attorney General, Barr, Fuck.
Yeah.
She's formidable. She's formidable. And Joe Biden, Jesus Christ.
He lost 10 points the next day, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he should.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I said it the last show. Joe's lazy. He's lazy.
He thinks it's my
Bernie
turn.
had a bad kind of a bad night. I don't think Bernie did as well as I've seen him do before. But you know why? He's fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
Because every week he does events everywhere because I get the feeds and I see them every fucking week. This guy is pounding the fucking tone. So I'm giving Bernie a pass because I just look tired. But fucking Biden's been sunning it up. He hasn't had anything to do. He hasn't given a press conference in fucking years.
No.
And he didn't, and he's so arrogant that he didn't even prepare.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fucking awful. I mean, seriously.
Didn't anybody
man.
give him the questions?
Yeah, come on. What was going on?
I thought the DMC
Isn't that
did
Democratic
that.
Party
Yeah.
policy? Huh? Isn't that Democratic Party policy to give them the questions?
The one you want.
Oh, come on. That's all forgotten now.
No, it's not.
Oh,
I
let
can-
bygones
I-
be.
look-
Let's not talk about who screwed who.
Yeah, well, there's a perm at the local salon called the Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
The Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Okay, no, we're unified because I'm scared of dying. Look, the other thing I wanted to do is show you the other person that really impressed me
Yeah.
was fucking Liz Warren, man.
Oh yeah.
I thought Liz Warren was on it, man.
She's consistent.
I fucking love Liz Warren. I really
No,
do.
that's because she's
This
from
is-
Beantown. Go on.
No, I knew her when she was a college professor because I used to watch her on GBH, Channel 2, public.
Grievous bodily harm. Is that a channel?
No. Okay, well, in Boston, there's a very popular television station,
Yeah.
WGBH,
Yeah.
and GBH was the public broadcaster in Boston, and they did a lot of stuff with Harvard. So I began seeing her pop up on opinion shows in the local area, and also watched her deliver a course as a teacher. And I looked at her and I went, oh my God, she's great. And you know something? She's been talking about the same thing for years, just like Bernie.
Yeah, she's consistent. That's what I meant. I mean, like when she ran in 2016, and
Yeah.
she tore apart that Tom whatchamacallit she was up against.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, you're right.
And she's got it,
Yeah.
man. Let me play for you. I'm going to compare two things for you.
Mm-hmm.
First, I'm going to play for you Bernie. Now, Bernie had a question about Medicare for all, and I think he just botched that question, and that really and the exact same question was given to Liz Warren, and she went another way, and it's I'm very curious as to your one. So compare these two answers because it's basically I love them both, and I love Bernie forever, but have a listen. Here's Bernie and then Liz on Medicare for all.
Will taxes go up for the middle class in a Sanders administration? And if so, how do you sell that to voters?
Well, you're quite right. We have a new vision for America. And at a time when we have 3 people in this country owning more wealth than the bottom half of America, while 500,000 people are sleeping out on the streets today, we think it is time for change, real change. And by that I mean that health care, in my view, is a human right. And we have got to pass a Medicare for all single-payer system. Under that system, by the way, vast majority of the people in this country will be paying significantly less for health care than they are right now. I believe that education is the future for this country. And that is why I believe that we must make public colleges and universities tuition free and eliminate student debt. And we do that by placing a tax on Wall Street. Every proposal that I have brought forth is fully paid for.
Senator Sanders, I'll give you 10 seconds just to answer the very direct question. Will you raise taxes for the middle class in the Sanders administration?
People who have health care under Medicare for All will have no premiums, no deductibles, no co-payments, no out-of-pocket expenses. Yes, they will pay more in taxes, but less in health care for what they get.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah, that was Uncle Bernie, and we've heard it before. But my thing about once we get down into the thickets of how you're going to do this, that there's a trap there. And the trap is that the soundbite that comes out of that statement is that Bernie's going to raise your taxes. And that is like red meat. You know, it goes right back to Bush's read my lips, no new taxes, where he had to lie about taxes to even, because everybody said that he was going to raise taxes. So I want to compare that. First of all, I think the proper answer to that is, and let me say, is that you're already being taxed.
Yeah.
You are being taxed. Refer to
it's just not called tax.
Thank you.
It's not called tax.
You need to change the wording. You need to change your health care premiums as a tax on you.
An indirect tax.
An indirect tax where you pay infinitely more for health care that you're paying now. We are going to withdraw that tax, and we are going to make health care cheaper for everyone.
Right.
And you are going to help by paying a bit more to replace. You'll be paying less in tax if you count those premiums as tax, which they are. So that's the approach I would make. I would sit there and go, it's a tax. And it's all the tax is basically given to you by people who don't care about your health. Whose job is to kick you off their insurance. Now,
and keep you and keep you away from getting any payout.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's Liz Warren, and Liz Warren was given the kind of I think it's about the Green New Deal. But she was given, that kind of approach. Who's going to pay for it? What's going on? Listen to what Liz Warren did, and I really liked her answer to this question. Here it is.
I'm with Bernie on Medicare for All, and let me tell you why. I've spent a big chunk of my life studying why families go broke. And one of the number one reasons is the cost of health care, medical bills. And that's not just for people who don't have insurance. It's for people who have insurance. Look at the business model of an insurance company. It's to bring in as many dollars as they can in premiums and to pay out as few dollars as possible for your health care. That leaves families with rising premiums, rising co-pays, and fighting with insurance companies to try to get the health care that their doctors say that they and their children need. Medicare for All solves that problem. And I understand there are a lot of politicians who say, oh, it's just not possible, we just can't do it, have a lot of political reasons for this. What they're really telling you is they just won't fight for it. Well, health care is a basic human right, and I will fight for basic human rights.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. She actually step by step went through the process of telling you how you're going to save money.
Yeah.
And how much you're getting fucked. In that answer, she reminded people, not with statistics. See, those statistics that Bernie says, he's been doing those a lot, and they're losing their traction. They're kind of you hear him do it a lot. So that you need to rephrase it in a way, and Liz Warren did in a very specific way. And she gave you the structure of healthcare companies. That was an amazingly intelligent, passionate, wonderful answer to why you need either Medicare for All or, and I've loosened a bit on this, what we have here in Australia, which would give you, private insurance for other things. If you want it. If you want it. Which is
what Pete Buttigieg said, and everybody came down on him.
Well, I got to say that I I was wrong there. I think. I think I was wrong, because I think this is the way. And people say, "Oh, you're backtracking." No, I think you should go in asking for everything. So that's the problem with the Obama administration. They compromised before they got to the table. I think you should go in thinking, "Yeah, okay." But always in your back pocket, know that what you're looking for is a basic Medicare system that covers everybody. And
if you want extras and you can afford them,
that's right.
Like diamond tiara glasses and things.
It also partially
partially
diffuses that Big Pharma is incredibly powerful. They have more money than God. If you run an election based on the idea of putting these people out of business, you will be up against so much fucking money. I guarantee you. They will have ads plastering every fucking network from here to November, and the issue will become healthcare.
Yeah.
So you need to pitch something that basically, hits that head, but doesn't try to put every healthcare business out of business. Because something, I don't know if you can win that. I don't know if you can win that in the space of time. And the number one thing we have to do is get Trump out of office. So that's my reasoning. What do you think?
I agree. If he's going to come out and say, "Look, we've got a great healthcare system. Don't fix if it ain't broke," all kinds of things like that, which are bullshit. And people will say, "Yeah." But they don't realize the big pharma and the healthcare system and private hospitals and all of that are like vampires, just sucking you dry.
They
VA, VA, which is the closest thing to a proper national health system, just for veterans, is a good example. And if somebody stands up and says, "Look at VA, they have hospitals, they have the healthcare plan, they have subsidized medication, they have all of that."
Yep.
That's what we want for all Americans.
Yep, absolutely.
And use it as an example, just like she did with a hypothetical. Just say, "Look at VA. That's what we want for everybody."
You're just expanding Medicare so it covers everybody. So we have a program named Medicare here, and if you want private insurance, you're encouraged. If you're a billionaire or something like that, or a millionaire, or you make over a certain amount of money, you're encouraged to take the burden off the public system.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. I've been in the public system. I had a friend who had a tumor removed from his brain.
Yeah.
And he paid for parking.
Yeah. We had 3 children and paid for parking.
If you get cancer here, you don't die. The cancer here is many of the major cancer drugs are on the PBS.
Yeah. Pharmaceutical benefits scheme.
Absolutely.
You know what? How much is insulin in Australia? $10.
That's right. Insulin's $10 here.
Well, maybe 15.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm not a diabetic, but I know on the PBS most prescriptions are $10 or $15.
Yeah.
If you are unemployed, if you are a senior, you get a health benefits card, and everything is $5. I think something like that. So it's quite good.
Yeah.
The scheme, but insulin I think is the biggest condemnation of the American healthcare system, that they just charged what they could.
Oh, these people are vultures.
People died. They should be held accountable for that and prosecuted.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But the thing is that once you have a public system that runs more efficiently, gives you better service, better care for less money, controls your drug costs, these private concerns have to compete with that if they want to stay alive.
Yeah.
So you are basically saying, because there are a lot of people who don't have private insurance here, even though no matter how much, they pay for the public. They choose the public system because it works that well.
You know what? We don't pay more taxes because our health benefits scheme, our national health, Yes, there are some co-pays, very minimal.
Yeah.
But it's a percentage of your taxable income.
Right.
So if you make $100,000 a year, your taxable income is $45,000 a year. You pay 1% of that, and that's your
Medicare
premium
levy.
For,
That's your
yeah,
premium.
your Medicare levy. And so you pay what you can.
You pay what you can. Everybody's covered. It's a great deal. And by
Yeah.
the way, the health insurance companies here in Australia are doing okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, they are.
You know, this is just the difference between, people shafting people till they die and being put on a fucking leash. And reaffirming that what Bernie said. Healthcare's a right. And it has been a right for, those like communists in
Yes,
Canada,
but-
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a baseline. America has no baseline.
No, it doesn't. Hey,
Obamacare sort of did, but it's anyway. What?
Obamacare was a Republican plan invented by Bob Dole.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes, I
and
recall,
you know
yeah.
what? He got it through in a vastly more conservative Congress. So he was to be commended for that. But don't forget, that is not a Democratic plan. The Democratic plan
No.
is what Harry Truman and FDR put forward. And Harry Truman and FDR put forward a single-payer health care system. Kennedy advocated it. Ted Kennedy advocated it. This is a pure Democratic plan. Just is. Obamacare was a Republican plan. Hey, listen, I had one more thing because, I had to sit up and listen to Joe Scarborough.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
and,
also Joe.
His wife and his wife.
Mika. Oh, Joe Scarborough. Joe, what do we say about Joe Scarborough, ladies and gentlemen? He evidently had some criticisms of the Democrats.
No,
He
really?
did. Evidently, we're just not doing it right, Joe. So, Joe, I got to tell you, man, listening to some asshole who supported Newt Gingrich and fostered, yeah, really, who supported the scumbag, I mean, just a fecal matter of a human being. Newt Gingrich, the guy who left his wife in a cancer ward.
Yeah.
The guy who's been prostituting himself around the GOP. The guy who's been wrong so many times we just can't count them. Newt Gingrich. He was
And what
a
about
protege.
his other friend, the Kim from Kentucky? What was her name? Kim Davies.
Kim Davies. Yeah, what about her?
Yeah. Wasn't Newt Gingrich her champion?
Oh, I suppose so. I don't know. I think that was one of the other conservatives. Anyway, what I'm saying is Joe Scarborough was sucking Trump's cock not too long ago, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And now he feels impelled and obligated to give helpful hints to the people who are going to have to come in and clean up his shit. The
Exactly.
Republican Party. Do you believe this? And, I think it was Blue Gal that said it on this broadcast. By the way, 500 episodes for Drift Glass and Blue Gal. Fucking love you. Keep it up.
We've only got 235.
No, we're nowhere near Drift Glass and Blue Gal. But Blue Gal said something very good. She said, if these Republicans really want to damage Trump politically, and they have some balls, why aren't they out there pulling for Bill Weld? Why aren't they out there pulling for the former governor of Massachusetts, who would probably give Trump a run for his money in New Hampshire and really hurt him politically? Why aren't they out doing that, trying to clean up their own mess? Why is it you
run
never
somebody
see
against Trump?
Huh?
Run somebody against the incumbent?
Yes, absolutely. Can
you do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bill Weld has already declared. You know what you get from Joe Scarborough? Nothing. He's not prepared to piss anyone off. Any of his Republican pals enough to stand up and do anything about it. The only thing fucking Joe Scarborough wants to do is sit on the sidelines and tell us how to clean up his shithole. Yeah. So here, ladies and gentlemen, these are the dulcet tones of fuckhead Joe Scarborough on Morning Blow, telling us how we should prepare again a Republican Party fuck up. And then I have a clip of Joe and our president not too long ago. Have a listen.
The open mic.
Have a listen.
But if you want to beat Donald Trump, you may want to listen. It is the position of every Democrat on that stage that illegal immigrants, if they cross the border illegally, should get health care for life. Right. It has been the position of every Democrat on that stage that if they cross the border illegally, it's not even illegal anymore. Now, that may make Democrats feel really good about themselves, right? But that loses Wisconsin, that loses Pennsylvania, that loses Florida, that loses North Carolina, it may lose Virginia. And what these candidates, many of them new to the process, need to understand is that we as a nation were shocked by the picture we saw a few days ago. But there is a vast middle ground between Donald Trump's immigration policies and the free-for-all immigration policies that were pushed last night. People may not want to hear, but Jeff Greenfield wrote a great column about this last night. If you want the Democrats to defeat Donald Trump, I'm very concerned by people casually embracing Medicare for all. Because when you drill down into that issue, even among Democrats, and start telling people what that means for them, suddenly it becomes very unpopular.
I'll tell you, this morning, what we basically said today was we were completely wrong about the
Totally.
debate. Yeah.
I thought
I did really well in the debate show, I have to tell you.
I didn't. Yes, Alan?
3 viewer questions.
You did not, right?
Oh my God, I was like, he's melting down. I think his head's going to explode. I thought your head was going to explode.
We were wrong.
I did.
You thought what?
Your head was going to explode.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I thought I did.
Oh, you're right.
My daughter was screaming at the TV.
By the way, he told me, he goes, I was having fun.
Oh my God.
Right. What do we have, one more segment?
One more segment, and then we're good. Thank you for doing this.
I'm doing it because
I said,
you know, you get great ratings and a raise. Me, I get nothing.
We're getting a real window into your... So...
Well...
Just make us all look good, that's right.
Exactly.
Suck Satan's cock.
Yeah,
Take
suck
that
Satan's
scaly
cock.
member down your fucking throat.
Yeah.
Fill your
suck
little
Satan's
bellies.
cock.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, Joe Scarborough, fuck you. Yeah.
By the way, no, they didn't say everyone's going to just have health care for life. What they said is that immigrants who are illegal immigrants in this country deserve to have health care. Because a lot of those health care people who are illegal immigrants, they're cleaning your fucking hotel room, you cocksucker. All those people who are doing the shitty fucking jobs that you wouldn't go near with a fucking pen because you're too busy running around your fucking Hummer. Those are the people that are doing the jobs that you wouldn't do. So, yeah.
You won't do,
If somebody's sick, I'm going to give him health care, you dick. And second of all, Medicare for all, you don't like it? Good. Good. I'm glad you don't like it. Fuck you. We're going to do it. You know why? Fuck you. That's why. Seriously.
But it's going to cost you more if you have people out there on the streets without
I know.
health care.
I know.
Trying to get money no matter how for their
Joe
families.
Scarborough is a fucking corporate whore first, last, and always. And if you want to look at the amount of healthcare companies that sponsor Comcast, fuck you, Joe. You don't get to tell us how to clean up the fucking mess you guys made. At all.
Yeah.
At
you don't.
all. You prick. Fuck off.
Yeah. You corporate whore.
Right. This is what I want to say to Joe. Could I have the toilet? That's what I want to say. That's what I say to you, cunts. Oh. Fuck off.
Oh, dear.
You flush this turd down the toilet, would you please? Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, on that uplifting... That's all, uplifting
folks,
note. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to have a Randy's Rant. So
that's a good idea.
It's only 15 minutes in. Jesus Christ.
And we've got some comedy.
Yeah.
And songs. Songs, we've got lots of things.
So we'll be back in just a moment, guys, with what show is it now?
235.
Show 235. Hey, we'll
Yeah.
see you soon. Bye-bye.
We are back, and I'm joined now by a very special guest, the President of the United States. Are we still going with that title? Yes? They're telling me yes? Okay, still good. Welcome, Mr. President. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you must be very busy cleaning out your desk. It has been quite a dramatic news week for you.
They make up lies. I've seen it many times. They make up things.
I mean, 2 former employees convicted, 1 implicating you as a co-conspirator in his crimes, a public feud with your attorney general, friends and allies, even doormen flipping on you left and right.
I know all about flipping. For 30, 40 years, I've been watching Flippers.
Such a good show.
Look, I didn't know Manafort well. He wasn't with the campaign long.
Well, then why don't we start with your former attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen?
I always found him to be a nice guy.
Were you aware of the hush money payments he is now saying were financed by the campaign per your instruction?
They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me, and I tweeted about it. You know, I don't know if you know, but I tweeted about the payments. But they didn't come out of campaign.
Did they come out of the campaign?
They didn't come out of the campaign, and that's big.
Huge.
Because that could be
illegal,
a little dicey.
Or illegal.
But they weren't. It's not even a campaign violation. If you look at President Obama, he had a massive...
Pecker. David Pecker, your friend and CEO of the National Enquirer, has recently been granted immunity in the Cohen investigation and is said to have a lot of dirt on you.
I don't know. I've always had controversy in my life, and I've always succeeded. I've always won.
Well, some say you're about to win, most likely to get impeached.
I'll tell you what. If I ever got impeached, I think the market would crash.
If you ever got impeached?
I think everybody would be very poor.
Why, if you ever got impeached, you would probably start crying, then rehash all the lying and rhetoric you've preached. All the Dems would be smirking, Jim Acosta would start twerking if you ever got impeached.
If I ever got impeached...
You could just give in to Mueller, then go and get some color by lying on a beach. This is all natural, right? With the crimes you've been fixing, you could be another Nixon if you only got impeached.
I think the market would crash.
You'd be through and take with you our worries and our strife. You'd return to only burdening your wife, and we'd resume a normal life. Find a lawyer, 'cause you'll need one. Write a book or learn to read one, or get your eyebrows bleached, 'cause just relax at the spa, go fuck yourself at Mar-a-Lago if you get impeached.
I don't know how you can impeach somebody who's done a great job.
You'd be more than implicated for laws you violated and protocols you breached.
Because without this thinking...
we could finally all stop drinking if you ever got impeached.
I think everybody would be very poor.
We would dance and sing and revel. No one else has hit the level of infamy you've reached. Giuliani could retire, Pence could join a gay men's choir if you ever get impeached.
The president did nothing wrong.
When you flee, take Huckabee, and finally I'll become. I'd ask Michael Avenatti to the prom, and Kellyanne could move to Guam. More than half the country's waiting, so think about the ratings, 'cause when you gave your speech, we would all tune in to listen. You could finally go to prison.
I'm not involved. I wasn't charged with anything.
If you ever got impeached.
I think everybody would be very poor.
What would you do with the brain if you had one?
The white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks. To hate all but the right folks is an old established rule, but during National Brotherhood Week, see Cassius Clay and Mrs. Wallace dancing cheek to cheek. It's fun to eulogize the people you despise, as long as you don't let them in your school. Oh, the poor folks hate the rich folks, and the rich folks hate the poor folks. All of my folks hate all of your folks. It's American as apple pie. But during National Brotherhood Week, New Yorkers love the Puerto Ricans 'cause it's very chic. Step up and shake the hand of someone you can't stand. You can tolerate him if you try. Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, it's national everyone smile at one another hood week. Be nice to people who are inferior to you. It's only for a week, so have no fear. Be grateful that it doesn't last all year.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times, because it's time once again for Randy's Rant.
Wow, that was amazing.
I love that opening. I was twerking. I was doing
Randy
it all,
Rainbow is just.
I think since
I just love him. Folks, check him out. Randy Rainbow on YouTube. You will laugh. The man is absolutely one of the great satirists of this time. I am in awe of him. He's a triple threat.
Yeah. And the lyrics that he writes, the lyrics that he writes,
he's just clever.
Are so damn clever.
And I saw the interview that he did on one of the shows. ABC, I think, did an interview of him, and he does it out of his office. You know, he's just green screen, and he made his own business and showcased his absolutely incredible razor sharp talent. He's funny as hell and smart.
No. But tell the audience. Go on, admit to the audience.
I was howling.
You were howling during that.
He is.
Yeah, I don't mean like a wolf. I mean like.
And it was interesting that you put him and Lyra together, because Randy Rainbow is the Tom Lyra of today. He really is.
He is. That's absolutely right. But it wasn't National Brotherhood Week. I mean, you
I
were
know
singing
it.
along with it. I mean, I
And
was in high school. I was in
I
high
particularly
school.
smiled at the lyric that says, "As long as you don't let him in your school," which is the busing thing that Joe Biden. I know. And all the shit that he was talking about in 1959 or 60, it's so true today.
Yeah,
it's all true.
But his songs are they're almost timeless.
Yeah,
they're like Bob Newhart comedy.
Do you know the story about Tom Lehrer, why he stopped? You know why he stopped? Because he stopped doing political satire after Kissinger won the Nobel Peace Prize, and he said nothing's funny to me anymore. Really, seriously, he did stop. He wouldn't do any more political satire. And then he went to Sesame Street, and he wrote songs for kids, educational stuff, because he was a professor at Harvard, I believe.
Yeah, he's an amazing composer. But if you really would like to see Tom Lehrer, there is on YouTube, God bless YouTube, the entire Oslo concert, which he was invited to Norway, and he did a concert in Oslo.
Oh God!
And it's about an hour long, and it's all of his songs.
It's brilliant,
and it's
do yourself a favor.
Brilliant.
Tom Lehrer on YouTube.
It's brilliant.
The Oslo concert. You will sit there and go, A, this is really a clever, funny guy, but B, the observations that he's making about America are as pertinent then as they are today. A lot of the shit. Pollution,
exactly.
Seriously,
exactly.
He does a fantastic Christmas Carol. Gun control.
All of that stuff, and that's 50.
That's 60 years ago.
60 years
he
ago.
does a Christmas Carol based on consumerism. He saw it all.
Yeah.
All the.
Oh, you mean the 12 days?
Yeah,
There's 12 days of Christmas. You mean? Yeah.
Based on consumerism.
Based on consumerism.
It's just
yeah.
nothing was funny to him after.
Hey, you know what, Willie? Why don't we bring some of these back to our listeners?
Yeah.
Because we're old enough to remember them. Let's find the odd Tom Lear or Bob
absolutely.
Newhart routine or
Nichols and
Mike
Matt
Nichols or
before
Elaine
in
May.
the class. I mean, we had
I know.
he had amazing satirists working then. But anyway, it's rant time.
Yeah. So anyway, those were our two people, Tom Lear and Randy, my namesake, Randy Rainbow.
God bless him. Mm-hmm.
Now, my rant today, it was actually mentioned a little bit there a moment ago, and I want to talk about the father and daughter who drowned in the Rio Grande.
Okay.
That picture burned into the retinas of the world, like that little boy on the Turkish beach who was trying to escape from Syria to Greece, and the little boy would have been the same age as this little girl or younger, and that picture just went around the world and just tugged on every heartstring. And I can't believe some of the American officials who came out and said, well, they shouldn't have done it, or they should have, they shouldn't have done it, or they should have learned to swim, or I don't know. It just was so sad. His name was Oscar Alberto Martinez Ramirez, and his daughter, they were from El Salvador, which is down beyond Guatemala, just south of Honduras. I've actually been there. But, they're trying to get to opportunity. Give us your unwanted. Give us your poor. Give us your tired. And we're saying, no, fuck off. We don't want them. And I'm glad they drowned. So I've got a clip now, which I think sort of sums it up for those who haven't heard it or seen it. And then I'd like to talk to you about some of the other repercussions.
Okay.
So play the little clip.
Of all the images of heartbreaking chaos, of human suffering at the US-Mexico border, there is one which seems likely to become a symbol of a humanitarian crisis which seems to get worse by the day. His name, according to the Salvadorian government, is Oscar Alberto Martinez. That little girl lying next to him, her body tucked inside his shirt, her right arm around his neck, is Angie Valera, 2 years old, his daughter. They were found dead on Monday, face down on the Mexican side of the Rio Grande. They tried to cross the river on Sunday. A Mexican newspaper reports that Mr. Martinez had successfully crossed with his daughter, but as he went back for his wife, his little girl followed him into the water, and both were swept away by a strong current.
Can you just imagine the father put the little girl on the shore to go back to get the mother, and the little girl wanted to be with her father, and she got back in, and then he couldn't save her, and then he couldn't save himself. This is such a tragedy. I think it's not a question of blame, it's a question of being prayerful and understand the consequences of policy. I'm sure that nobody who decided to have a policy would say, and I don't care if something like this happened. But it does happen. And I visited the border so many times over the years, not just in recent years. The Rio Grande has personality. This is not just a little river that you swim across. It has its moments. So I can just imagine how that happened, and I just think it's such a shame for that to be the face of America around the world.
The face of America around the world. That's it. That picture is burned into everybody's psyche as the result of policy. Now, Pelosi, she was magnanimous in saying it's not about apportioning blame, although it is very much part of the blame of Trump and his border security people who won't even give soap and toothbrushes to all those hundreds of children they have locked up in cages. Hygiene is not our responsibility. But she's right, though. That is the image of America right now. And that's kind of sad. But one of the results of it, I'm it wasn't even an American cartoonist. A chap named Michael de Adder in New Brunswick, which is in eastern Canada, did a cartoon of the father and daughter there in the reeds, and it shows Donald Trump in his little golf buggy saying, "Do you mind if I play through?" as if they were in the water. And this cartoon went viral. Doesn't matter that it may never have been run, because apparently he was suspended by his newspaper in New Brunswick. But it does show Ramirez and his daughter, and Donald Trump just looking down on them holding his little putter. I've got a song I'd like to play for Oscar and his daughter, by James Taylor, the James Taylor, and it's from a musical called Working, which I directed many years ago. Stephen Schwartz and several other composers. Lin-Manuel Miranda contributed a couple of songs to the new version. But this is called Un Mejor Día Vendrá. Pardon my high school Spanish. But this Un Mejor Día Vendrá means a better day will come. And this is what I think is what Oscar Ramirez and his family wanted.
Un mejor día vendrá, un mejor día vendrá, cuando Dios a los pobres un lugar dará, cuando madura la tarde, vuelvo cansado a mi hogar. Y soñando un futuro, olvido dolor y pesar. ¿Dónde se ha ido mi vida? ¿Dónde se ha ido mi juventud? Perdidas en las palabras que el viento me trae, un día mejor vendrá, un mejor día vendrá, un mejor día vendrá, cuando Dios a los pobres un lugar dará. Palabras que el viento me trae, un día mejor vendrá, un mejor día vendrá, un mejor día vendrá, cuando Dios a los pobres un lugar dará.
That's truly beautiful. I love that song.
It is. It's unfortunate that the show was not successful in its original run.
Yeah, but you directed it, did you?
Working. I directed the first Victorian production back in 90.
Back in the day.
94. And yeah, back in the day. It has songs by about 6 or 7 composers, and it's based on an enormous oral history by a radio journalist named Stubbs
I know
Terkel,
of him, yeah.
who used to, yeah. Oh, his books are amazing reads. And this is literally all about people talking about their lives, their
And their
everyday
working
lives, and the value of
And
human
the
endeavor.
value of work.
And it
Yeah.
was it's so
Yeah.
moving. Yet it opened, I think, just a couple of weeks before or after
Hmm.
a chorus line, and everybody compared them because they were sort of first person in your face kind
Yeah.
of shows, whereas they couldn't be more dissimilar.
No, well, I mean,
but
working
it's
is
unfortunate.
about
But they've been
people. It's actually
Yeah.
one of the,
Yeah.
it's a truly moving piece of theater.
Yeah. Anyway, they've had
Yeah.
a London production. They did it last week
Yeah.
in New York for a week. Their
Yeah.
Encores productions with Helen Hunt and a few other stars, and it has had a life well beyond Broadway. It's done every couple of years at WAPA because it's the ultimate ensemble musical.
Yeah,
because every character is well developed and has something to do to sing.
Well, listen,
yeah.
it's good that you played that because I wanted to take some time at the end of the broadcast to tell you about somebody who was near and dear to me, who I love dearly, who passed away. And I feel that his story is relevant to my experience as an expat who comes home to America. And I thought I'd just reflect on that a bit with you guys, and also because I wanted to talk about my dad. My dad was named Bruce. He was I loved him to death. He was just this incredible man. He was the child of my grandfather was actually from Iowa. And he was a tall Midwesterner, a guy named Boyd Tenike. And I remember one of the first things that I did want to reflect on, just the basic past here of my family. And that when he passed away, we went down to the basement of our little house, Randy, and we found this trunk. And Dad was looking through Granddad's stuff, and we opened it up, and it was full of. There was a Doughboy's hat, and there was a German helmet, and underneath that were citations and medals. Evidently, my grandfather was a medical orderly at the Second Battle of the Marne and had a citation from Blackjack Pershing himself, who was the commander of the European theater.
Yeah. Jack
He
Pershing,
was the medical orderly, and his job during that time in which America went to war was, as a medical person, was to go out into no man's land and drag the wounded back to the trenches. It lasted for 13 days, the Second Battle of the Marne. 13 days. And in 13 days, 95,000 French troops were either killed or injured. 13,000 British troops were either killed or injured. And 12,000 American troops were killed or injured. And it's estimated that the German army suffered an estimated 168,000 casualties. And I when I learned about it, all I could think of is, why wasn't this man insane? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they didn't have PTSD.
Well, yes, they didn't.
They didn't know what to call
yeah,
it.
Shell shock. I was in awe of him. In awe. Because he was the kindest, gentlest man. Man of few words. He looked like Gary Cooper. He just did. And he had these big hands. And he would save the cherry-flavored lifesavers for me when we went bowling. You know? And this man carried that. And that was my dad. My dad was definitely his father's son. And my dad, he wanted to, and he's responsible, I think, for my interest in politics, because he lived through World War II. And he lived through World War II. He idolized Eisenhower and actually worked as a Republican, you know, and he had a photo of him and Eisenhower, you know, and that was he had 3 photos. He was at the a hotel in New York, and he was working for Taft. And so, I mean, he was a conservative, just like his father was, but a rock-ribbed American. I mean, just the most patriotic, you know. And they Eisenhower was there, and Nixon was there, and de Gaulle was there, and he got to shake hands with de Gaulle, and he has 2 photos, one of him and Eisenhower, one of him as Nixon, and he always said to me, I never liked that second photo, because he was a Republican who didn't like Richard Nixon at all, at all.
Wow, was there such a? Well, I mean, chalk and cheese with Eisenhower and Nixon
had a code. Really, seriously, there were people like you. Eisenhower was the guy who defeated fascism in Europe. You know, he was the guy. My father intrinsically had a code of the way people should behave. You know. And he didn't like Nixon. He just said, "No, I've seen the way he runs," and so and he loved Kennedy. He adored Kennedy, and he became the only Democrat on Cape Cod. You know, he married my mother, who was creative and an artist, and she had sometimes medical problems, but he was married to that woman for 62 years. And this is what happened to him. And this is why I want to draw his story to you. Halfway, when I moved to Australia, I didn't realize what was going on. And you know what was going on? After 22 years of loyal service to his company, which, you know, he had worked for. He had invented a word processing program that was the first to be used in corporate for the power company that he worked for. Yeah. And what they did was, after this thing, this was after the 80s, after the Gordon Gekko times, you know, and this is around the Bush administration.
Yeah.
And what these guys did when this hedge fund took over the power company is what they did is they basically took all the people over 55 that they knew they were going to have to pay health insurance and retirement for, put them into an area that they knew they were going to fire everybody, and they did it. And they fired my father and 5 other men. I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know why Dad was suddenly downstairs making a newsletter for a guy. I didn't know why Dad suddenly was running around, you know, taking photos for money. He was trying to keep the roof over his head. And he didn't. I only found out of this later. And it even gets better, because they finally did find there's a wonderful lawyer in the Bush administration who knew what these people were doing and took up the fight with equal opportunity. But let me tell you this. This is what happened. 2 of the guys who were on that lawsuit got cancer. The power company dragged it through the courts till those guys died. And then they gave my father a payout that was absolutely nothing compared to 10 years of his working life. And it was all because of greed. All because of greed. Fuck you. I got mine, fuck you. Loyalty, fuck you. Screw the fella that's giving you his life. Fuck you. Yeah, that's what America's turned into. That's what America's turned into. And it pained him. And I'll tell you something. We used to talk politics all the time. He adored Obama. He loved Obama. He thought that Bush was a criminal, which he was. And this is a Republican. Trust me. He's a turned Republican. This is a classic, Republican classic guy. And what he saw in Trump made him physically ill. Because it was everything that was opposed to what he was brought up to believe America was. And he was one of the good ones, guys. I'll tell you something. If you had met my dad, you would have liked him. He was far more nicer than I was. He was a true prince. And we used to every birthday. What would happen was that we'd go to Fenway Park when I was a kid, and when I was about 10. And I was one of those delusional kind of kids, because there's this incredible delusion that kids have when they go to a ballpark. They bring the glove because in their frazzled little minds, they believe, yeah, no, we're better.
They're going to catch the pop fly.
We really do believe that maybe one of the pitchers won't feel like it that day. And suddenly, hey, little Billy, come on down.
Oh, now that's a fantasy. That's a
By
fantasy.
the way,
yeah.
I got to tell you, man.
Okay.
I fucking love baseball. I adore baseball. I adore it. I adore being a Red Sox fan. I adore it. You know, in a world that's shit, don't tease me.
What are the Red Sox again?
Okay. My dad would hit you. But here's the thing. This is true. And I'll tell you something. And I remember this like a golden thing when I was 10. Dad was working all the time. He just worked, you know, and Mom worked too. But he'd always get us seats in the grandstand for my birthday. And that day, I can tell you, it was the Boston Red Sox versus the Cleveland Indians. Ray Culp was pitching. And it was about the 8th inning, and the Red Sox were losing 5-3. And in the last half of the 9th inning, Billy Canigliaro got up and hit a 3-run home run. Because I was in tears. I was 10, man. I was like, how dare they lose on my birthday? And that moment when he went in that home run, and the hug I got from my dad. So when we got older in life, and my, I could only talk to him. Well, I got the baseball down here, and when he came, the last time I saw him, we watched the Red Sox win against the Yankees. I'm sorry this is a downer for you guys, but I really felt.
Oh, Willie, it's not.
Well,
you
know
you
what?
are the result of this man. So you're actually validating this for our listeners. You know, you said that he was full of grace, integrity, loyalty, and love.
Well, he also
and you've inherited that.
But he also
it's all explained.
He also
now.
carried a copy of the Constitution in his back pocket. I swear to you, not. He did. This is the most patriotic American I've ever known, who absolutely adored his country. Oh yeah,
and he actually read it.
He would friggin' quote it.
He's a Republican. And he's a Republican. And he's a Republican.
No. You got to understand.
None of them had ever read the
There were people who actually respected things. There were people who didn't go through their lives, gauche assholes.
I know.
Who made excuses for a president that
but
does
that's
this
in
thing.
the old days.
I'm sorry, that makes me crazy. It made him crazy too. I'm going to leave myself with that fine memory.
Yeah. Can I? Yeah. I just,
Yeah.
Your dad I never met him, but I know him because I've known you for 30 years. And
He was
that's
a
enough.
much better guy than I was. But I tell you, man.
No,
I adored him,
I can't
he's
believe
my
that.
hero for the end of my show today. As I go, I want to tell you guys, if you can, go to YouTube, or not YouTube, iTunes, and rate us. If you like us, leave a review. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Or if you want to sponsor us, you can go over to The Bill Show, thebillshow.net. Everything Bill Show in one place, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, this is the Red Sox theme song, when they won in 2004. Dad and I decided that this was our favorite song. This is Tessie by the Dropkick Murphys, ladies and gentlemen. I love you, Dad. Good night.
Tessie is the Royal Rooters rally cry. Tessie is the tune they always sung. Tessie echoed April through October nights after serenade installed in and young. Tessie is a maiden with a sparkling eyes. Tessie is a maiden with a love. She doesn't know the meaning of her side. She's got a comment full of love. Sometimes when the game is on the line, Tessie always gets